In a recent Truth Social post, Donald Trump is attacking museums, saying they're talking too negatively about America and how slavery is bad. Take a look at this. He says the museums throughout Washington, but all over the country, are essentially the last remaining segment of woke. The Smithsonian is out of control, where everything discussed is how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Nothing about success, nothing about brightness, nothing about future. We are not going to allow this to happen, and I have instructed my attorneys to go through the museums and start the exact same process they have been doing with colleges and universities, where tremendous progress has been made. This country can't be woke because woke is broke. We have the hottest country in the world, and we want people to talk about it, including our museums. He's not upset about misinformation or the misrepresentation of history. He is upset that they're teaching history how it happened. I guess now the truth, historical events, are woke according to Donald Trump. This is the authoritarian playbook 101. Donald Trump couldn't be following it more accurately if he tried. First you attack schools, then universities, now museums.
Hello wonderful good people, welcome once again to another episode of my YouTube channel. It's me again. For those who are new here, I'm Marvin, and please and kindly feel free to hit the subscribe icon below and follow my page. If you find this episode of value, of essence and educative, you can as well share to your family and friends for it to reach a high magnitude of people. Also, don't forget to like this video. On today's episode, our focus will be on Trump's administration. On a recent tweet, Trump clearly says he is looking for a move to close down museums all over America, starting from Washington DC, because he feels they are trying to talk badly about the image of America. Clearly, black history is taught in these museums, starting from slavery and torture of black slaveries from Africa. With the first video we have just watched, we can get to understand what I mean. Clearly, Trump is against black history taught in museums. Also, he is against black history taught in universities, in schools, and anywhere black history is taught, Trump is truly against it. But with this move, clearly, Trump is trying to shut down people from talking about slavery that happened in United States of America. Clearly, it is the black American family that were involved in slavery. The mastermind behind the slavery were white supremacists. On my end, why would Trump not attack large plantations that used to host slaves? Why only attack black history? This shows how Trump is a racist. Clearly, he says teaching black history in these museums is bringing up racism. But why would you not concentrate on other things, instead trying to bring down the black American legacy down? Let's watch the following videos I've compiled, and we will come back at the end and discuss its impact on the black American family. Make sure you watch this video to the end so that we can all be on the same page. But clearly, this isn't a right move by a president. He is supposed to protect the black American family. He is supposed to enlighten the growing generation of the black American history. Black history is history where black Americans came to America. It is how their ancestors were treated. But clearly, on Trump's perspective, it is clearly promoting racism, of which he is a racist person. Why would you attack only the black American family? You should also burn down, or you should also close down museums related to the white supremacist, plantations that were related to the white supremacists. Also, this is not fair at all. Let's talk
Museums.
All right, well, breaking fuck the news. Donald Trump's assault on actual American history that they're trying to bury because it attacks their white pride continues. Trump escalates attacks against the Smithsonian Museum, saying there's too much focus on how bad slavery was. President Donald J. Trump escalated his campaign to purge cultural institutions of materials that conflict with his political directive on Tuesday. alleging museums were too focused on highlighting the negative aspects of American history, including how bad slavery was. In a true social post, Trump directed his attorneys to conduct a review of the museums. Compare the effort to, to his crackdown on universities across the country. The Smithsonian is out of control, where everything discusses how horrible the country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Nothing about the success, nothing about the brightness, nothing about the future, Trump wrote. Trump comments comes days after the White House announced the unprecedented sweeping review of the Smithsonian Institution, which runs the nation's major public museums. The initiative of a trio of top Trump aides wrote in a letter to the Smithsonian Institution's Secretary Lonnie Bunch III last week, aims to ensure enlightenment with the president's directive to celebrate American exceptionalism, remove divisive and partisan narratives, and restore confidence in our shared cultural institutions. When y'all hitting the streets, time, date, location, I'll be there. I gotta set it up, I'll set it up. But welcome to the Fourth Reich.
Donald Trump just basically said that museums in the United States are out of control and woke because there's exhibits within these museums about slavery. He wrote, "The Smithsonian is out of control where everything discusses how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, ... Either Donald Trump has never been to a museum in his life, which probably is true, or he's grossly exaggerating what he did see in these museums. Teaching Americans, especially children, about where we screwed up, like with slavery, is actually a good thing because it prevents us from following in those footsteps again. Trying to erase the history that makes us look bad is really something that dictators of the past have done time and time again. So if you want to actually teach our children and not indoctrinate them, then I would say let's not touch these museums.
As a person who has studied African American history, both on a personal level because of the stories that have been handed down to me by my parents and my grandparents, who was handed to them by their great-grandparents, and as a person who has read and who has visited the monuments and the museums and heard the oral traditions and the stories, who has looked at the accounts of white enslavers, everything that the common person knows about slavery is a sanitization of how bad slavery in America actually was. To be clear, American chattel slavery is the single most barbaric experience that any group of people have been put through in our recorded history as humans. And it is an extension of the reality that Europeans raped and pillaged their way through the New World in order to conquer it. They are the villains of every indigenous people's story because no one has ever brought more violence or crime or disease than Europeans trying to manifest destiny their way through the world. Which is why this post from the president is particularly insidious, because the whole idea of museums talking about how horrible the country is or how bad slavery was, as if it wasn't, as if we're lying. But that is the white supremacist talking point, that we've been lying, that white folks were actually nice enslavers, and that those who were enslaved actually enjoyed it. He wants to replace that with being the hottest country in the world, or he wants to replace it with lying about who America has been and the byproduct to this day. Because to be clear, slavery is the single most impactful thing that most Americans are experiencing to this day. Trump's lawyers can go to these museums and sanitize all they want. We know the truth, and those of us who know the truth will continue to tell the truth, no matter how much they white lie.
Donald Trump is actively trying to purge museums of Black history and whitewash America's history by calling our museums too woke.
Well, we want the museums to treat our country fairly. We want the museums to talk about the history of our country in a fair manner, not in a woke manner or in a racist manner, which is what many of them, not all of them, but many of them are doing. Our museums have an obligation to represent what happened in our country over the years, good and bad, but what happened over the years in an accurate way.
Black American history is barely taught in America as it stands now. There is no universal curriculum in this country to explain the history of what it means to be Black in America and our Black experience. We learn our history from our parents, our grandparents, our elders, and our community, and that's how we've always learned our history. An abridged version of what most people in this country learn is that slavery was bad. Slaves were brought from Africa. They worked on plantations, mainly cotton and tobacco. Lincoln ended slavery, then cut to Martin Luther King and civil rights, and then we've been free. But that is not how history works, right? Our history is omitted from curriculum and omitted from the mainstream society, because that would have to mean that America would admit its portion in systematically oppressing us today. Slavery lasted for 246 years, from 1619 until 1865. And then for 89 years after 1865, we lived under one of the worst apartheid systems in the modern world, where Jim Crow run rampant. In 1954, we got the civil rights era starting, and when we had our leaders fight for our rights to vote, fight for our rights to have fair and free housing. But we were still, the systems in place were already unilaterally spread throughout this country, meaning Black people couldn't do many things. And we had to fight for the next 30 to 40, 50 years, even today, to get access to certain things. But because this isn't taught, and the history and the gruesomeness of that slavery, where we have men raping women at their beck and call, and then stealing those babies from those mothers and then raping them again and getting them pregnant. Black people were sent to breeding farms, mainly in Virginia, to breed with each other, because the strongest slave would breed another strong slave, whether they were family or not. That's where the term motherfucker comes from. The more you know. Lynching people, how people bringing their babies to come watch lynchings, antagonizing Black people, terrorizing Black people, eating Black people. There's so many things that happen in America with white people against Black people. And the fact that they're trying to spin this new era of, well, not everybody owned a slave, white people aren't evil, it's always white people bad, Black people good. And that's not the case. The case is, if we don't teach our history the correct way, why would anyone listen to my experience as a Black person? And it's already being challenged. You know, it's every time I put up a video about the Black experience or Black history, people can throw out racist comments very quickly to me. And I'm like, why do you think it's so easy for you to be racist when my experience is exhausting? It is exhausting being Black and have to stand 10 toes down for my history and my culture. Because if it's not us to teach it, they'll wipe it from the history books here. And that's what they're trying to do.
Well, thank you for being with me till this end. What's your take in this episode? Is Trump really trying to be fair, only attacking the Black history? We also understand there is white history in America, but Trump is clearly shutting down museums related to Black history and teaching of Black history in universities, in schools, and in colleges. This shows how Trump's regime is racist. He clearly gets what he wants. In this move, clearly, no one is backing it down. Only the white supremacists are supporting this move. Trump is supposed to be attending to more serious issues facing American citizens, such as tariffs, trade wars, and rather than focusing on things that doesn't add value to the American economy. Why will you close down museums? Because they're trying to teach the growing generation of the Black family how their ancestors were treated, how their ancestors were brought to America in harsh conditions, how their ancestors were treated by their white masters. Clearly, I don't support this move. Trump is a dictator. He does what he wants. He clearly doesn't consult anyone on what he wants. This shows how he is a racist person. This shows how Trump undermines the Black American culture. These museums, I believe, they pump money into the economy of the United States, because when you go to learn about the Black American history, clearly there's a token you pay so that you can get a little enlightenment on how the Black American family were treated years back. Slavery in America didn't start now. Up to now, slavery is still happening in America because all the big fish who are around, they are white and their workers are black. You can see how the white bosses are treating black people. That's why Trump is trying to erase the teaching of black history in museums. Clearly, this shows how Trump doesn't care at all about the welfare of black American welfare. Teaching the growing population of children on how their ancestors came to place, how their ancestors were treated years back, it is not promoting racism. It is a way, it is a national pride, it is a black pride to the black American family. They feel a sense of belonging that we belong here. It is a sense of belonging that we are supposed to fight for a space here in America. Black Americans are clearly people who have pride with their ancestors. They support people who show respect to their black ancestors. Slavery didn't come to America today. It started years back, and it is Trump who is trying to bring back slavery in America. What's your take in this? Would you support Trump's move to ban education in museums? Do you support Trump's banning black history in museums? Should Trump bring this move down? What's your take? Let's engage. Share your comments and I will humbly respond to you. See you on the next episode where we will discuss more and also get to give the black American family enlightenment on what is happening around America. Thank you for watching. See you on the next episode. And remember, take care of yourself because the white supremacists are coming at you and they are not backing down anytime soon. Take care of your family. Always pray and God will protect you always. Goodbye and thank you for watching.